I love teaching high schoolers. They're beginning to question what they know, and they're willing to engage in a little bit more of a critical thinking about how they know what they know. My passion for the Holocaust in particular came from a visit I had to the Museum of Tolerance down in Los Angeles. It lit a passion of I want to be that type of teacher who can create a lesson that's effective for them, not just their knowledge base, but really gets them to think about their decisions in life and how our individual decisions impact broader society.
Robert came to us at the center, and me specifically, to talk about building a Holocaust and Genocide Studies course at his school. So I shared out my syllabus, he built upon it, and then we've been helping provide resources as needed for him. Mr. Kosi's class is unique in that it provides students a deep dive into the study of Holocaust and genocide.
A Holocaust and genocide class is so important because it teaches things that is not taught in your typical history class.
We can see with time moving on that events like the Holocaust are slowly being forgotten about, and it's going to be dependent on people like us to be able to share these stories and talk about what happened.
When you hear a witness, you become a witness. And I think we need to really share those stories and what happened so they just don't get forgotten.
It is like a sore subject to touch, but the more we talk about it, the more we open up to it, it's going to be more well known, and we won't have to get our information off of Instagram or TikTok.
When we do our Holocaust Remembrance Night in January, we always invite a Holocaust survivor or legacy speaker to come speak. And that's one of those moments where it's oh, this is real.
To hear from survivors, it's just life-changing. It's honestly kind of just chilling sometimes to hear it in their own words, what they saw, what they felt, what they went through.
You can read a bunch of articles and you can watch other videos of survivors telling their story, but really being in person and listening to them, you can see the emotion that they share in their experience and really what they went through with it.
I think studying other genocides opens up that lens to show that it's a humanity problem.
They tied him up and they dragged him outside of town and they beat him to death. And that was the last time I ever saw my father.
Hearing from the survivor that night absolutely wrecked me. It's almost impossible to comprehend because it's so inhumane, and it's just really heartbreaking, and I feel like that's where you really learn the most in being able to put a story to the history. The most important thing I learned from this class was the effect that people have and the effect that communities have. The bystanders that saw what was happening, and they were like, oh, that's not me. That's not happening to me, so I'm not gonna do anything about it. I'm not gonna say anything about it. And I think that's present in a lot of social issues, and just thinking about what would have happened if someone said something then.
Ashlyn's drive to be an upstander, she took it to heart. And she put together a campaign, My Friends Are Not For Sale.
It's a youth-centered awareness campaign for anti-human trafficking. History repeats itself, and if we're able to learn about genocides and about the Holocaust, we can see how they happen and why they happen and be able to stand up when something's not right.
They were somewhat...
After October 7th, the landscape for Holocaust and genocide education changed. I don't know that this course would have come along if I didn't have the resources available to me that the Holocaust Center provides.
This year, the Holocaust Center has worked intentionally to build and expand our program to help teachers and schools navigate these difficult conversations that are coming up in current events. For many teachers, they may be less likely to even attempt to do this difficult work of studying these tough histories without that support.
Today's education world, there are so many demands made upon teachers, and to know that somebody's advocating Holocaust education and that we're providing resources to teachers around the state, that's just so comforting to know. So I want to just start by asking you guys, what you guys thought.
Not a lot of people, especially in my generation, know about the Holocaust, but it really opened my mind.
I hope to be able to retell the stories that I've heard through a Holocaust survivor, because eventually these people won't be able to tell their stories, and so it's important that young people learn it and can continue to spread it.
There is nothing better in life than watching a light bulb go off of a student's head when they grasp a concept that minutes earlier they could not have understood, and knowing that you had a part of that makes me feel like I'm making the world a little bit of a better place.
All right, great work today, guys. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.